There's a reason big men are most frequently utilized as screeners. Their size and strength makes them harder to fight around or sneak past screens, and they're usually more threatening finishers and lob targets on the roll. But inverted ball screens, meaning a big man or a forward is handling the ball with a guard screening, can be even more difficult to guard. Most teams aren't able to switch those actions, as you'd likely be giving up either a size or speed mismatch. Now, it's important for there to be a size disparity between the ball handler and the screener so the opponent can't switch. This is why you didn't see Paul George and Kawhi screen for each other much, or Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, because both guys likely have a solid wing-sized defender on them. Instead, Tatum will call up Derek White or Drew Holiday to bring a smaller guard into the action. You've probably watched hours of barn hunting guards. Against elite defenses, that might be the most efficient source of offense. Even if someone like Steph Curry isn't a bad defender, LeBron going after Curry instead of Draymond, Iguodala, or Klay Thompson was a far better option. That mismatch hunting is one of the main benefits of inverted screening. Even if the opponent doesn't want to switch, a tough, rugged screen might force them to do it anyways in order to not give up a wide open shot. Most guards aren't great screeners though. A, because they rarely did it growing up, so they never really learned, and B, because not everyone is willing to give it their body. Most guards aren't strong enough or wide enough to free up their teammates anyways. There are some strong guards like Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, or Derek White who are totally unafraid of contact, making sure to force mismatches for their star wing teammates. Even if the defense does prevent a switch, now that guard can fly out for a movement 3. Any actions with a devastating downhill force like Zion or Giannis paired with a lethal shooter like JJ Redick, that's just an impossible cover. Guard screening also means that it's a smaller defender that's now as the hedging defender. So if Steph Curry is screening for Draymond, now Draymond can drive right at a small guard and finish over him, rather than your usual pick and roll where you're trying to finish over a lengthy rim protector. And it's not just the shooting from these guards that scare defenses. Most guards are far more skilled with a ball in their hands than the typical big man screener. They can quickly diagnose openings in the defense upon catching the ball in the short rolls. They can hit floaters or take a few dribbles inside the paint instead of having to be spoon-fed right by the basket like most big men. A lot of guards pose the threat of being able to pop for a shot, roll, pass, or drive upon catching the ball after setting a screen, and that makes them so unpredictable. Now obviously not every guard can shoot, but the best way to utilize non-shooting guards is involving them in the action instead of having them spaced on the perimeter and just get ignored. You can use their defenders sagging off of them to your advantage. If they set solid screens and their man is dropped back, that's an easy pull-up for the ball handler. And as rollmen, a non-shooting guard gets his weaknesses mitigated, but he can use the other play skills that he might have, like passing or finishing, to his advantage. Before Bruce Brown really developed his skill set, he was tremendous in that big man role for Brooklyn before he was a good shooter. He still was a great screener, very strong, had a very nice floater, and he was great on 4-on-3 situations that KD and Kyrie created for him. Much of the discussion around this positionless era of basketball is about big men adopting guard skills. That's definitely important, but guards should also be learning big man skills like posting up and screening as well. If every player on the court can screen, handle the ball, and make decisions, now the coaching staff has infinite options at their disposal. More big men being able to act as initiators opens up opportunities to reverse the script, with guards acting as the big men now. Offensive versatility is key to adjusting to the various teams that you're going to face in a deep playoff run. Team-wide around the NBA, Oklahoma City and Boston utilize inverted screens as much as anyone, with nearly every starter in their lineups being capable of fulfilling each offensive role. Life is so much harder for defenses when you don't know what's coming. Inverted screens are like a curveball being thrown at the defense. Opposing big men are not used to navigating screens. Opposing guards are not used to hedging or trying to play drop coverage. Because of their unfamiliarity, they're bound to make mistakes. Also, inverted screens likely means that you're now dragging out the opponent's rim protector to the perimeter. They're not in position to help, and now a smaller teammate's awaiting you at the rim. Screening is an unselfish act. Guards who are used to having the ball in their hands might be hesitant to do something that they deem to be kind of role player activity, or they feel like setting a screen is only setting up your teammate to score. But oftentimes, the screener ends up being freer than the man he screened for in the first place. If you set a solid screen, now someone has to help on the ball handler, leaving the original screener open. So this is a mutually beneficial act for everyone. From a defensive standpoint, ideally you're able to switch this, but teams don't just have lineups full of OG Anunobis and Bam Adebayos to switch everything and keep the ball in front. That's just not a realistic option for 99% of NBA team builds. Usually in these inverted actions, you're going to have to give up something. Let's look at a couple more examples. With Steph Curry, screening may be the most underrated aspect of his game. Most teams can't switch bigs onto him, but if you don't switch, that gives him the split second he needs just to get the tiniest bit of space so he can get a shot off. It's not just about his own scoring though. Curry's screens are an effective counter for when he's being top locked or face guarded off the ball. His man is usually so afraid of losing him that they stay glued to him. And because of that, Curry easily frees teammates because there's nobody hedging on his screens. They just stick to him and then Curry's teammate gets a wide open drive to the basket. Good screening like this is another way to add off-ball value without actually running off screens yourself or simply spotting up and spacing. Something that's particularly deadly are any three-man actions with a guard screening for a finisher before popping out for three. The Denver Nuggets love sets with Nikola Jokic initiating from the high post, then Jamal Murray sets a back screen for Aaron Gordon so he can get a lob or cutting finish opportunity, and then Murray sprints right out for three. And even if the defense stops that, the Nuggets can just flow right into the Murray-Jokic two-man game. Spain pick and roll starts as your typical pick and roll, but with a shooter setting a back screen in the paint for the roller before popping out for three. That's tough for defenses to prevent both the lob and the shot. Murray can also set cross screens for Jokic post-ups. You can't switch Murray's man onto Jokic because that would lead to a mouse in the house in the post, but if you don't switch, Jokic's man is now a step behind the play on a post-up and he's about to cook. Similarly, Murray can set these flex screens, aka a screen for the guy in the corner to cut to the block for Aaron Gordon to cut and finish. Murray can set your typical ball screen for Jokic. Good luck trying to prevent Jokic from both getting downhill and stopping Murray from getting free outside. Even if you're not giving up an open shot immediately, the defense is put a step or two behind the play, and now the offense has an advantageous situation to attack. The versatility of the Murray-Jokic two-man game is what makes it so deadly. Both of them can initiate the action or be the screener. Both can shoot, handle, pass, operate on the move. It's truly the prime example of modern offense. Even if you're not giving up an open shot immediately, the defense is put a step or two behind the play, where now they have an advantageous situation to attack. Offense is all about creating advantages to put defenses in a predicament. Using inverted screens is one of the easiest ways to do so, and it's a skill all guards should learn growing up. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Hope this was insightful. Thank you for watching.